Hi, Rachel. I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm so excited to be back in touch with you. I thought we'd talk today about the new Joyful Inclusion Navigator app.
Sounds good.
Okay. How are things going at the university?
Things are going great. Busy as always, but moving right along.
Well, they're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
So, here's the question that I got when I was talking to people about the app. They said, "Why did you create it?" And I thought, well, first of all, it's a challenge, and I wanted to try, could I create my own app? Yeah,
hmm
there was the challenge to do it, but I had a bigger vision. But I think you see what that is too.
Yeah, I think it's about making what inclusion is and how we define inclusion accessible and helping people see kind of where they're at. So we always talk about, using data to make decisions for our students, but we can do that as educators too. So it's a way to really collect this data and then use that data for improvement in the same way that we do in our classrooms and in our schools and in our districts.
That's a great way of thinking about it. I wouldn't have said it quite like that, but I like what you just said. What I'm thinking is there are so many people out there that are part of inclusion from their perspective. In fact, we looked at 8 different stakeholders, everything from special and general ed teachers to principals to parents to college professors to who am I forgetting? Did I say principals? There are 8 stakeholders anyway. And they're like, well, what can I do about inclusion? And so the app is designed as a self-diagnostic tool that they would complete, answer some questions. They would get a radar graph, which is really cool,
Mhm.
and they get some next steps, what they could do to improve, expand inclusion, what from their perspective. And
Yeah.
yeah,
To add to that, I just want to say, I think too, a lot of times in education or just in life in general, we say we're doing something, but this app really helps you see exactly how you are or aren't doing it. And then again, like next steps for continuing in that growth process.
yeah, because we don't know what we don't know. Like
Yep.
we think what we're doing is this best practice? I don't know. It seems to be working, but maybe there's another way to look at it. So
Yes.
it gives people a chance kind of secretly to do like, how am I doing?
Mhm.
So
I think too, sorry, it's a self-assessment, right? So it's not someone else coming in and saying, this is how I think you're doing. It's a self-reflection, a self-assessment, which I think is important as educators that we take time to do that self-assessment and reflection.
right. Somebody asked me if this is for students too, and I think that's the next version. We'll do one, but the one for students has to look a little different than ones for
Yeah.
adults. So that's down the road. When I was just beginning the process of what in the world this app would look like, how it would be designed, I came to you because you are the Joyful Inclusion Evaluator. And I like, how do we create something that's not just somebody's good idea, but is really grounded in something? And you gave us some really good advice. You want to share?
Yeah. So, first of all, Amy, you always come with the most amazing ideas, and it always gets my wheel spinning. So, as soon as you came to me with this idea for the app, and it was about kind of like, self-assessing where you are with inclusion and then next steps, it had me thinking about how to think about making that a reliable and valid kind of like measure for our own assessment on inclusion. And so I thought about this method, the Delphi method, where you really get together a group of experts, a panel of experts from all different places with all different kinds of backgrounds and experiences and expertise. And that's really what this method is about, is really putting together this panel of experts and then going through several rounds of looking at the survey, looking at the questions, and then providing feedback so that they get to a final place where it's, a product that you would want to put out and what you ended up using within the app.
Yeah, I was excited that we had 14 different stakeholders, and most of them did the review from more than one point of view. Like I was a general ed teacher and now I'm a principal, so I'll do those too. Or I'm a parent and I'm a college professor. So we had them looking from different perspectives, and that their feedback was amazing.
Yeah, and it's just this method is really cool because it's the feedback that helps inform the next version that the expert panel is looking at. And you go through several, I think you ended up going through 2 rounds of feedback from all of the members of your panel. And it's that feedback and those different rounds of iterations and improving the wording and the questions and taking out questions and making sure we have the questions that are solid that really make this framework or this method really valuable when you're creating something like this app.
What was really interesting in that process was sometimes somebody would make a comment about a particular word, and they were talking just about the survey for that one stakeholder. But then I looked to see if that word showed up with other stakeholders, and I used their feedback to revise in other places. So that was a really valuable whole experience. So the app is published. There's a
Yay.
link down below. And I'm really excited as the early stages are coming in. What happens is you don't have to download anything. It's a web app. You just go to the site, put in a little bit of information about yourself, and then choose which stakeholder you are. And it will you answer some questions. It gives you a radar graph and it gives you um, some recommendations. Well, you choose one stakeholder pathway because we can't make changes in 5 different areas. So you pick one pathway, and then it will give you 3 suggestions. So what are you thinking for the future as we look forward? First of all, people will get great ideas.
Yeah.
Out of those 3 ideas, hopefully they will move forward and improve inclusion just a little bit where they are.
Yeah. I mean, and I can say I tested it out last week. And even as someone who was part of this process, even me seeing the ideas, I was like, okay, yeah, this is something that I need to work on in my, when I'm working on preparing teachers. So, yeah, I mean, I think moving forward, not only is it a good self-reflection tool and little, tidbits of things that teachers or educators or principals or whatever stakeholder group you're a part of can use to improve your inclusive practices. I think there's honestly the possibilities are endless with this data. So, disaggregating it by stakeholder group and seeing, what areas is it collaboration, is it instruction that, is a strength or an area for improvement. But also it could be, I think it could be used with in a professional development session at a school level. So like there's so many different ways to use it, not just at the individual level, but maybe in a small group, in a professional learning community, in a grade level meeting, in a district-wide meeting. I think truly the possibilities are endless. And the way that you've designed it with action steps makes it not just something that you're doing, but you're able to really take something from it and move forward so that you can be better when it comes to inclusion and supporting your students with disabilities.
So I'm thinking we have this dashboard so we can look at the trends and we can say, gee, most of the people who are general ed teachers said this was an issue. And
Mhm.
then we could say, is this a blog we could write or there's materials? Is this a presentation that we can do? And it can be comparing one state with another for different stakeholders.
Oh,
So
yeah.
interesting. I mean, there's so many fun things that we could do with it. If a school wants to do it across their whole faculty, then we could find all of the responses that came from that school and package it for them and give them anonymous data. They won't know who said what. But yeah, I'm really excited about the possibilities and
Yeah.
go. So, as we said, there is a link down below and go to navigator at joyfulinclusion.com and let us know your feedback. Oh, you know what? We could also send a message out because we'll have their email. We could also send a message out and say, like a month from now or 2 months from now, what did you do? What did you try?
Yes.
That
Yeah, I like
would be
that.
really cool. They don't have to answer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a little nudge like that might get them in action or maybe they will have some amazing stories. Maybe I could interview them on this blog.
That would be really cool because then you see the true impact of implementation from what you learned from your report from the app.
So Well, thanks for talking with me. I know you stepped out of a meeting to have this little conversation. I won't tell.
It's all good. Anytime.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.